Bobby Rydell shares on how Dick Clark was such a huge influence on his career. I'm John Beaudin from nailsheet.com. When you talk about the influence of a show like American Bandstand, you have to realize that help was spread over like the four winds everywhere. But American Bandstand, for the longest time, was situated in Philadelphia before they moved to LA. Dick Clark was the longest running host for the show from 1956 to 1989. Bobby Rydell said, without Dick Clark, it would have been tough. Do you remember that moment when you were first on Dick Clark's American Bandstand?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a story about Dick Clark. You know, I recorded for Cameo, Bernie Lowe, who was the president of the label. And I had 3 songs for a Cameo, and you know, when we recorded it and we'd have an acetate and dub, Bernie would take the songs to Dick, you know, to play them. And Dick turned down my first 3 songs. He just turned them down. He said, no, that's not going to make it. And then finally we recorded Kissin' Time, and Bernie Lowe took the acetate, the dub, to Dick Clark. He put the needle down on the record and he said, that's a hit. And from there, I went on to the show, performed Kissin' Time, and of course, back then, the show from 3:30 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon went cross country. Every kid who was watching American Bandstand figures, well, if Dick Clark is playing it, it must be a good record. We got to go out and buy it. And, you know, Dick was very instrumental, not only in my career, but a lot of people in the business, you know. And he was a wonderful man, really a great man, a gentleman. And, you know, I'm happy that I had a lot of years with him, and I miss him.
I'm studying the music after the war, after 45, especially going into the 50s, and you were a teen, you know, and really starting out there. I mean, that was it's almost, if I had to explain that, and again, I wasn't there, I was born in 60, that world was, it was a complete different vibe, wasn't it, than it is today?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding, John? I mean, it was so wonderful, you know, to grow up, you know, in the early 40s and then into the 50s. You know, it was just one of the greatest times, you know, not only in my life, but I think in a lot of people's life who are now my age, you know, in the 70s, in the 80s, so on and so forth, because everything was just wonderful back then, you know. Everybody got along. You could go to sleep and leave your front door and your back door open without any problems of anybody coming in, hitting you over the head, killing you. You know, it was just a great time. We made up our games. We didn't have enough money to buy a bat, a ball, a glove, a football, so on and so forth. So we made up our games. And, you know, unfortunately today, you know, you don't see any kids out on the street, you know, playing some kind of ball, some kind of basketball, baseball, football. They're all in their houses. They're all on computers. They're all on phones, you know, and so on and so forth. And, you know, they're missing out on so much that life can give you. You know, it's unbelievable. So, you know, yeah, it was just a wonderful, wonderful era. And unfortunately, it'll never come back again, but it's always great to remember. And that's what, you know, I think our music does. You know, the music back then, the people, you know, loved, you know, me and Avalon and Fabian and Paul Anka, the Everly Brothers, Elvis Presley, Fats Domino, so on and so forth. And you keep on going. And they reflect about, you know, how great everything was back then, how pure, how innocent, how simple.
Bobby Rydell released his autobiography called Teen Idol on the Rocks, A Tale of Second Chances 2 years ago. We'll have more of our conversation with Bobby Rydell coming up next week. Go to BobbyRydell.com for more details. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin from nailsheet.com.